Exam season brings on levels of stress that can hinder your studies and affect your result. The dreaded board exams are around the corner, and today in this session of Health Talk, we have with us clinical psychologist Dr. Aruna Broota to share some tips on how to cope with the exam stress. Welcome to Only My Health, Dr. Aruna Broota.
Thank you so much for having me over. It is a very well needed discussion and I wish you had done it much earlier.
With the crazy stress levels, exam jitters or nervousness is something many students face. When should it become alarming?
You know, sometimes I wonder, why are you waiting for that alarm to switch on? Because once we know the nature and temperament of our family members, then whosoever is very quick in getting anxiety, I think we should immediately start the psychotherapy or the counseling process, because you can't change thoughts like this, right?
Right.
You gradually develop people's personalities. You teach them how to stay calm.
Absolutely.
You use a lot of techniques where negativity is converted into positivity. So I think we should not wait for the word alarm, because that's what we're doing today, isn't it?
So in this scenario, how should students deal with this stress? How should they be coping with this crazy level of stress that they subject themselves to?
I think right in the beginning of an academic year, we need to do some workshops so that students start to think what they need in life, what are their priorities in life, how they are going to do time management. And I think that is what is required the most. You know, there are two reactions to stress, flight or fright. Both are bad. What is the flight? You'll find today only I had a 10th class girl coming to me and saying, I'm missing my boyfriend. I want to go out with him. My mom won't let me. She says this is the time to study. But I want to go because if I go, I will be rested for some time and then I can come back and study. Actually, this is a flight. She wants to run away from the situation and then not think of studies, not think of the tests, not think of the marks, not think of achievement. And fright is when you're just sitting, say for example, I have a student coming to me, he's in class 12 and he says, I can't study, and he's like this, I can't study, and he vomits, right? They've been to the best of gastros,
right,
and the gastro says it is all in his head, he's frightened of exams. And the parents are saying, why should you get frightened now? The whole year you didn't think of it. I think this is wrong. I think we need to support kids and we need to do time management. There's still time that we can manage ourselves.
How do the peers or the peer competition affect the stress levels?
Well, let me first say peers are very important. That's our first priority in life. Whatever age you are in, you would love to be with your age mates. So for kids, it is their dunya, it is their world. So peers are very, very important. The issue is, what kind of peers do they want to be with? What habits and demands and pressures the peers give, and what demands and pressures are you willing to take from your peers? That is very, very important.
How should the parents cope with this situation? Because more often than not, parents end up worrying about the score and the performance of their kids than their mental health.
Well, let me first comment on this word mental health, you know. I don't think in our country people are realizing how important it is to have healthy mental health, right? We just discard that. If you're only talking of score, the child is going to become, you know, irritated. The child is going to revolt. If you tell your child that you should have this kind of knowledge, let's see what the textbook says. So if the child shows interest, I think that is the child's forte. And you should let the child be. And mothers come fighting, you know, with me, arguing back ferociously. College nahi milega, university nahi milegi, agar marks nahi aaye, right? So I say, so be it. Marks will come behind you if you let the child acquire knowledge. those students who have been very serious because of the pressure from the parents that they have done well in terms of marks suffer from depression. The issue is, how should we study? How should we love to study? How should we appreciate our studies than to say, is your classwork complete? Has it been signed? Is your homework complete? Has it been signed? What are your unit test marks and how are they going to be added and all of that.
Around the exam season, students end up consuming things like pills to stay up till late or even coffee. How does this have an impact on their performance? Does this make the situation better or worse?
It makes the situation worse because if you're using a crutch, then you're not actually improving yourself or the situation. You're only trying to fight against time. The coffee might keep you awake. But there are children who go to doctors or who go to chemists and they take anti-sleeping medicines where they can keep awake. Girls are using anti-menstruation medicines so that they don't menstruate during exams. And those are very harmful. And they bear the brunt after the exams are over. They're not able to come back to normal sleep. So you have to think that what are our coping mechanisms? If there is stress, we can help them use, say, the use of a sport, say table tennis hai, say badminton hai, say tennis hai, whatever facility is available, be practical, whatever facility is available without wasting time. Or let me say, skipping is a very good way of de-stressing. Those of you who know skipping. If you don't start a new thing, you might fall down and fracture yourself. But this is the way.
What are some important recreational activities for students around the exam time to cope with these stress levels?
I think I've already mentioned that table tennis, badminton and all, but if there are indoor static games, then carom is a very good game. The whole idea is to expend energy, right? So if you hit, then you're hitting back unconsciously to someone, right?
True.
So I think that is very important. Dribbling, say tapping the basketball or bouncing the table tennis ball without even a play partner, I think, and counting it very loudly, structures your mind, keeps away the negative thoughts. I think if you ask me the role of the Indian methodology, I think yoga really helps. For example, if you were to do 7 different types of pranayams, each 10 times, you will relax. If there are 7 pranayams, they are all about different methods of breathing. So when you take a deep breath and then you leave it very, very slowly, your brain starts to come down and it's more relaxed. So your autonomic activity also comes down and you start feeling less nervous, less worked up. I think this is very important.
So, since we are talking about pranayams, what are the key pranayams that students must practice during and around the exams?
It is Bhastrika, right? It is Kapalbhati, it is Bahya, it is Agnisar, then you do Anulom Vilom, then you do Brahmani, and then you do Udgit, and you're a refreshed person at that time. You're totally new in your thoughts. Do it in the morning and do it in the evening before dinner.
What are some key things students must keep in mind right before the exam begins?
Do not wake up beyond 11 at night so that you can get some good night's sleep. The sleep that comes between 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night is nocturnal sleep. It gives maximum rest to the brain.
Very important.
Just as the computer starts to hang, the brain can also start to hang. Therefore, don't wake up all night before the paper to study the whole course all over again. That is harmful for your memory, which you need in the examination hall. How to take the paper? Read the question paper, take a deep breath and leave it very slowly, and read the paper again and pick up the easiest question which you remember. Pour that out on the answer sheet. Now start thinking of the next easy and then come to the difficult. You will be fine.
What tips would you like to give to the parents to help manage the exam stress for their kids?
I think a big hug is a jadoo ki jappi. I think reassurance comes with a big hug, and we need to start like that. And I think positive comments should be given. Unfortunately, parents keep saying, "Tere bas ki nahi hai. You've lost it. You know, you're a loser," and stuff like that. I think no negative statements should be made. All positive. No matter what the paper is like, please remember, I love you in spite of your paper. I think it gives him exactly an injection of cortisone by these words. And this is what parents must do in these days, these few days that are left.
Thank you, Dr. Aruna Broota, for sharing with us these key tips which are absolutely the need of the hour around this crucial exam time.
Thank you for having me on this show.